All right. Hi, guys. I am Audrey Oliphant, and I am Real Life, Real Beauty. And today is Monday, and so it is Movies and Makeup Monday. Basically, what I do here is I talk about a movie, give all the spoilers, and then kind of tell you what I think about it. So, it's not really a tutorial video on makeup, but I do my makeup while I'm talking to you guys, so that way I'm doing something while I'm sitting here talking. If you do have any questions about any of the products I use, they will be linked below in the description box. If you like makeup and movies, then I definitely suggest hitting the subscribe button below. Or following me on Facebook, wherever you're watching this. Okay, so the very first movie I'm going to do, if you haven't noticed my shirt, says Merry Christmas. It's technically the Monday after Christmas, at least when this will be posted. And so I want to talk about a Christmas movie. It's one that I've watched over and over and over again. And let me just tell you this. If you're looking for the cinematic experience, and something to blow your hair back, this is probably not the movie for you, but the movie we're going to be talking about today is Christmas with the Kranks. I feel like it's an underrated kind of movie. It used to be on Netflix, but I think now you can rent it through Amazon Prime if you have that. So anyways, that's the movie we're going to talk about today. I'm going to kind of go through the whole movie with you and then kind of like give my feelings throughout. So, and do my makeup while we're talking. So anyways, Christmas with the Kranks. It's starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Tim Allen. Tim's name in the movie is Luther, and Jamie Lee Curtis's character is Nora, and so they're basically the main people throughout the movie. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then we'll talk about the movie while we're going through it. So basically it starts out with Jamie Lee Curtis and Tim Allen's character, so Luther and Nora, are getting ready to, the movie starts out like this sad and playing this sad music, and they're all like dragging their feet and you don't know why. Well, come to find out, they are taking their daughter Blair to the airport to go join the Peace Corps. I didn't even know people still join the Peace Corps, but they do, which is awesome. Good for them. So anyways, they take her and they are dropping her off at the airport to go. And they're all sad and depressed. So they go ahead and get her dropped off at the airport, and they're on their way home, and it's like pouring down rain, and Nora needs some Christmas like baking supplies or whatever. So Luther, they're like stopping, and of course it's pouring, and he's pissed that he has to go and do this errand or whatever, right? So he goes in to the store. It's pouring down rain. This guy offers him an umbrella, and he's like, no thanks, I'm good. So he goes into the store, he comes back out, and he's missing something, right? So she's like, oh my gosh, you have to go back in and get it. So he goes back in and he gets it. And while he's coming out, the guy offers him an umbrella again, and he's like, no, I don't need it. And all of a sudden, like, I don't even know what you call him, the covering thing, dumps all this water on him. So while he's like super mad now, he looks over and he sees this poster of a cruise ship and like these totally happy people. So the wheels start spinning, right? So he goes to work the next day and starts doing like all these calculations on how much money they spend for Christmas every year. And he like is totaling up, why he has those receipts, I don't really know. But whatever, it's fine. It's part of the movie. While he starts totaling up those receipts, he realizes that they have spent like $6,000 on Christmas the previous year. And he's like, what the heck? How did we spend that much? So he goes home that night and they're having dinner or whatever. And he's like, hey, I have this idea, because she starts complaining about how sad Christmas is going to be without Blair and yada yada. So he's like, hey, I have this idea. And so she thinks it's like that special night of the week. So she gets all excited. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask a friend. So anyways, they start going on and on about he starts going on and on. He comes in and he has like this Hawaiian shirt on and he's playing Hawaiian music. And she's like, what is going on? And he's like, hey, I have this idea. Let's go on a cruise and for Christmas. Let's skip it. And she's like, no, dude, you're crazy. We're not doing that. We can't skip Christmas. And so he shows her how much money they spent the previous year on Christmas. And it was like $6,000. And she like can't believe it, right? So she's like kind of on board, but not really. And he's like, but look, this cruise is only $3,000. And she's like, what? And she's like, okay, but we still have to give to our charities. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. It's a all out skipping Christmas type thing. And so she's like, nope, not going to go then if we can't give to our charities, which I mean, I kind of side with her. It's money that you still wouldn't be spending over, and it's supporting charity and children's hospitals or whatever. So finally he gives in and he's like, fine, we can give to the church or to the children's hospital or whatever. That's fine. We're good to go. So all of a sudden now, this is when all the craziness starts. So they've decided they're going to skip Christmas completely. They're not going to do anything Christmas related at all. So what starts happening? Well, everyone starts asking them about Christmas stuff. So the scouts come over and they're like, hey, do you want to buy a Christmas tree? And he's like, yeah, no, don't want to buy a tree. We're skipping Christmas. And so then they're like mad. So then people are asking Nora, like, are you going to order your Christmas cards? Are you going to have your famous New Year's Eve Christmas party? And she's like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And people just, they can't handle it. They don't understand how they could skip Christmas. Well, here's the deal. When he tells the scouts that they're not going to buy a Christmas tree, they go tell the neighborhood, like king of the neighborhood guy, you know, that guy, which happens to be Dan Aykroyd. His name's Frohmeyer. They go tell Frohmeyer, yeah, Nora and Luther aren't doing Christmas this year. And he's like, what? Okay, because this is like a huge deal. So apparently Luther and Frohmeyer have this conversation. And he's like, yeah, skipping Christmas, that's weird. This is what Frohmeyer's saying. Yeah, skipping Christmas, that's crazy. Can't believe you're doing that. But you're still going to put up Frosty, right? Well, Frosty is this big giant snowman thing that everybody puts on their roofs at Christmas time. And he's like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And he's like, well, you probably should because this is what everybody does. And he's like, yeah, no, we're skipping Christmas. So now it's neighborhood war, okay? So like the whole neighborhood, the kids start coming out and yelling, free Frosty. You know, they want Frosty on the roof. People are all like treating them differently because they're not doing Christmas. They're going on this cruise. So then Luther gets this idea that they need to tan, right? So they decide they're going to go to the mall and tan. Well, of course, it's calamity all over the place. She hits her head. Nora hits her head and has to go out to get a Band-Aid. And then while she's out there, for some reason, the, what do you call it? The priest from their church comes out. And of course, she's in her bikini. She's totally embarrassed. And he's like, hey, Nora, I heard you're skipping Christmas. And she is like, yeah, we're skipping it. Well, somehow in this town, that information makes it to the newspaper. Again, not really sure why. It's supposed to be a kind of small town, but kind of not. Anyway, somehow they make it on the front page of the newspaper. Fine. So there is this ongoing feud between Luther and his elderly neighbor across the street as well. And they do not get along. They fight all the time. His wife has cancer. And so like they try to get along in front of her, but for the most part, they hate each other. Can't stand each other. Okay. So, sorry, focus. So anyways, so they're going along and everyone in the town is all against them. The police come and they want them to buy a calendar of the policemen, you know, like a hot calendar. And they're like, nope, we don't want it. Well, then that makes the police mad. And so, there we go. We just had to catch up. So everyone is trying to figure out, you know, basically why they're not doing Christmas. They just don't understand it. Their whole neighborhood is mad. The kids keep calling and telling them to free Frosty. There's all these prank phone calls going on. And It's just getting like, Nora is getting to the point where she is mad now, and she's like, screw the neighborhood, okay? We're going to do whatever we want to do. We're going to go on this cruise. We're going to have a great time, blah, blah, blah. So, then, all of this stuff is happening, and the neighborhood is all against them. The whole town is ticked, which, again, like I said before, it's not going to be some major cinematic experience, you guys. It's a cheesy Christmas movie. Like, you know, it's not going to be... It is what it is. It's funny. It's cheesy. So, all this battle is going on. Oh, the neighbors, they're sending over Christmas carolers. And, you know, Luther is like, oh, I'm going to battle this. So he, like, throws water all over his sidewalk so that all the carolers will, like, fall and slip. And Nora ends up falling and slipping. And it's just this whole thing. And she just can't handle it. But she's now so mad that she just wants to go with it because, you know, forget them. We're going to do this. So as this goes on, all of a sudden, it's like they're getting ready to leave at this point because they're getting ready to go on the trip, and all of a sudden, Blair calls because, you know, whatever. She's supposed to be gone for a year. I forgot to say that before. But she's supposed to be gone for a year. They're not supposed to see her till the following year. But of course, as you already know, because you probably spotted it from the very beginning, is that big surprise, Blair is coming home for Christmas. Oh, we never saw it coming. Okay, right? So, she calls. They get on the phone. And they're like, hey, she's like, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm coming home for Christmas. Oh, are you so surprised? Like that. And, of course, we're not surprised because we already knew. Like, we knew what was coming, right? We saw it coming from 10 miles away. And so, anyway, so they decide that they are going to stay. All of a sudden, Nora thinks that Luther is crazy and he had the stupidest idea and they never should have done it, even though, you know, 5 minutes before, she was like, oh, you're so smart. I love you so much. You know, so they decide, oh, crap, we better get ready for Christmas. But, oh, my gosh, we have nothing done. We have no tree. We have no nothing. So then they decide they are going to go... Luther decides he's going to go to the neighbors and ask them if he can borrow their tree because they're going out of town. And even though it's weird, the guy's like, yeah, I guess, just like, don't mess it up. What do you think he does? He messes it up. But he goes and gets the tree and he tries to like go hang up Frosty by himself. And Nora is like having some fight with an old lady at the grocery store for Blair's favorite turkey thing, like turkey in a... It's a giant turkey in a tin can. I don't get it, but whatever. That's her favorite. Oh, no, it's ham. It's a ham. Hickory honey ham. So this is all happening. Well, Luther ends up falling from the roof, getting stuck. Frohmeyer comes over. He's like, hey, man, why are you trying to put up Frosty? Tell us what's going on. And mind you, Blair also told them that she went on the trip to... whatever, the Peace Corps, yeah, that thing. Went on the trip, met this guy, they fell in love, and they're going to get married. And I'm like, really? So apparently it's someone that she had met in college, and they were just friends, but then they went on this trip together, and now they're in love, and I'm like, meh. Whatever. Again, just part of the movie. Why he couldn't just be her boyfriend, why they had to get married, I don't know. Don't ask me. But whatever. So they decide that they're coming home for Christmas, whatever. So I know the neighborhood is like, you know, they're going to rally together and they're going to help Luther and they're going to help Nora get their house ready because Blair is coming home and they're so excited and they're doing it for Blair, not for them. And so the whole neighborhood decides to get together and help the Kranks get their house ready for Christmas. So they don't really want to help. But then Frohmeyer puts on this speech and it's like, this is for Blair. This is not for them. Okay. So they all come together. They start getting food because in the whole honey ham disaster, got ran over by a truck. You just have to see it. And of course, when they plug in the house, all the power goes out. So while this is all going on, while they're all trying to get the house decorated and finished, the police that are apparently in Frohmeyer's back pocket this whole time, whatever, he's friends with the chief, they keep bringing that up. They go to pick up Blair and her boyfriend, fiance. They go to pick up the fiance, and they're trying to stall, and they end up like stopping by some random alleyway just to pretend like they're looking for something. Well, magically there's some guy there, he's breaking in, so they have to arrest him and like stick him in the car. And this is the Enrique guy's first white Christmas, and so he's all freaked out, whatever. So that's what's going on with Blair and Enrique, if you're wondering. The cops went and picked him up from the airport. So the power goes out when they plug in all the Christmas lights, and they're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? So again, Frohmeyer, I think, calls somebody, if I remember correctly, gets the lights back on. And then, of course, when they're coming in, they're pulling down the street, and they're, coming down the road, and it's this big, huge deal, and everyone's so excited. And so there's this part where Nora sees this guy in the liquor store while she's shopping, and he's like, hey, I heard you're having a Christmas party. And she's like, yeah, do you want to come? Because at that point, nobody wanted to come to her Christmas party anymore because they had already made plans. And so they're like, hey, do you want to come? And he's like, yeah, sure. But she doesn't know who he is. And in fact, at the party, nobody knows who he is. None of them can figure out, where this guy is from, who he is, nothing. They are trying to figure out who this guy is at the party. Nobody knows who he is, but they're just going with it. Clearly he knows everyone because he like creepily knows all their names and stuff. But again, nobody really cares. They're just like, whatever, we're having a party because Blair is here. We're coming. Get all of that. They get the party. Blair gets there. Everything is going great. Do you remember the old neighbor guy that I told you about in the very beginning? There are other run-ins with him and Luther, but they're really not worth mentioning, I guess. They fight all the time. Remember I told you his wife has cancer. Well, apparently her cancer has gotten worse, and she's not doing very well. And so Luther decides that he is going to give that cruise trip to them because she's not doing very well, and he's trying to be in the holiday spirit a little bit. He's kind of down, He's kind of down because they didn't get to go on their trip. But he also realizes that he should be thankful that he has the family that he has, and that, his daughter is home when they didn't think that she was going to be home. And so he decides to gift the neighbors the trip, even though, they don't really get along. So he goes and gives them the trip. Hang on. I can't do that and talk at the same time, let's be honest. Goes and gives them the trip. They're so thankful and appreciative. And they're like trying, though, to make up these excuses why they're not going to go. And they just really can't come up with anything that's good. It's just all a bunch of like random stuff. And so they're like, okay, we're going to take your trip. We'll go, we'll go on the trip. We love you guys, thanks. But this doesn't mean we're friends, the old guy. So basically, that is how it goes. They're all this happy family. Everyone is there. And they're all just excited. It gives you all the warm, fuzzy holiday feelings. But again, if you're looking for some cinematic experience, probably not going to get it from this movie. You can watch it on your own. Like I said, you could get it on Amazon Prime. If you have any... I personally really like the movie. It's one of those ones that you can watch over and over again and really get into if you're into the holidays. It's definitely one I'd put on your holiday playlist. I think it's a little underrated. It's funny. It's Tim Allen. I mean, you know, it's going to be a little cheesy. It's going to be funny. So if that's something you're looking for a movie to watch for the Christmas season, I definitely would recommend that. And like I said, it is what it is, right? It's a Christmas movie. We really shouldn't be expecting too much, okay? So anyways, guys, that is it from me. I hope that this helped you maybe find out a little bit more out about a movie that you might want to see. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm Audrey Oliphant. I am Real Life, Real Beauty. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys so much. I will talk to you soon. Bye.